How did you actually injure your arm?
The arm?
Yeah.
It's all a direct result of the neck.
The neck.
Yeah.
Now that actually happened in '89, your neck injury, right?
The first one, when I was with WWF, wrestling the Rockers, Madison Square Garden in the afternoon, Jannetty hooked me for, it's called a victory roll. Jumped up, legs go over the shoulders, he arches back, flips you through. Well, I didn't get tucked, head, boom, right in the mat. That's the first break. I had a crack of the, we'll say C5. Actually had to wrestle that night in Boston. And that's all you had. But in those days, I mean, Boston was going to be sold out. That was a big time payoff. You know, we were next to last on the card, right underneath Hogan. I wasn't missing that for the world. A lot of guys would have took
Your injury.
Okay.
You were in Boston, you couldn't move.
Yeah, that was the first chink in the armor. Had to wrestle in Boston that night. Thank God, tag situation is your partner takes care of you. I don't think I even got in the whole match. Then when I first came back in '90, wrestling the Steiners, Ole and I, in Greensboro, the arm just went out. But this was the right arm now. Just crawling across the ring, I think I took a power slam or something. The arm just died. The rear delt completely atrophied. Bicep died, never came back. That was a 3-month rehab, no surgery. Came back, was able to wrestle. Then right before Halloween Havoc, my neck had been in 1997. My neck had been giving me fits, really tight, just tight and gravel and just brutal. I guess it was just chips moving around. Been broke a couple of times at this point. The x-rays had shown there were a couple of the discs were completely herniated and this and that. You know, the doctors are saying quit. And you take it with a grain of salt. Finally, the day before Halloween Havoc, I walked in the Gold's Gym in Las Vegas, grabbed a couple 30-pound dumbbells just to warm up. And apparently, from locking the door in the parking lot to walking across that parking lot, a chip must have moved over a nerve canal and shut this hand down, my left hand. Because when I grabbed those dumbbells like a nightmare, it just fell out of my hand. Boom, hit the floor. It's like one of those horrible dreams. You look around, make sure you're awake. Tried to pick it up. My thumb and the first 2 fingers were completely gone. And we all think it's just a pinched nerve. That's what we're conditioned to as wrestlers. Didn't say anything. Was unable to work out that day. Wrestled Luger. And if you go back and watch the match, I had tape, you know, on fingers and anything I could do to hang on. Had no use of the left hand. And consequently, I wrestled that match and wrestled another probably 2 months, very limited. We're on a limited schedule, November and December. We didn't wrestle about 6 times in December. January, we went to, my left hand just kept getting worse. It started to atrophy, and my arm started to atrophy through here. And I said, God, this is bad. I started having some tests run, and the doctor said, this is bad. This is bad. You need to stop. You need to stop. Finally, I was lacing my boots up at a Disney taping, and I was having a problem getting it through the eyelets. And Eric looked at me and said, what's the matter with your hand? I said, it's been this way a couple of months, Eric. He said, take your boots off. I said, I want you to go get checked. I said, I have been checked. He said, what'd they say? I said, well, quit. So what do you want to do? I said, well, I don't know. I want to have this one last test. So I had another MRI and CAT scan, and diagnosis was 5, 6, 7, and T1. All the nerve canals were totally blocked. They had to go in. They went through the back. They split me from about halfway down my head to about 5 inches down my neck, and went in and took all the bone chips out, all the flat bones that run perpendicular to the spine. They drilled them, took them out. Consequently, that ended it.
How hard was it to deal with mentally?
I wanted to die. The post-op pain, athletes have a high pain tolerance just because we're hurt all the time. I've never experienced anything that was even remotely could scratch the surface. And I've torn my groin all the way up in my belly, where I've been purple from my knee to right below my chest, just totally purple. Broke ankles, you name it, my neck, everything. Never experienced anything like the post-op pain. I wanted to kill myself. I actually looked at my wife one day in the hospital. It was like the second day after surgery, and I said, the morphine wasn't working. They were giving me 2 Percocets and a blue Valium every 2.5 hours, plus the every 6-minute drip. Wasn't even scathing. I looked at my wife. I said, get my money man up here. I want to get everything in order and tell him I need to talk to him. I was actually going to blow my brains out in the hospital. Never experienced anything like it. Finally, the pain started to subside the third day a little bit, and it was bearable. That was the hardest part. Then I still thought I'd wrestle again after I got out of the hospital. Once I got out of the hospital and started the road to recovery, I thought, I can overcome this. Started coming back and started back in the gym about a month later. 3 months later, I'd been training for a couple of months. A guy came up to me and slapped me in the back. Just said, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Boom. I had a thing of water in my hand, and it just fell out of my hand. And when the guy slapped me on the back, the jolt, system shutdown is all I can tell you, that went through my body. And this was just a little bitty guy. He said, hey, Double A, where you been? I hadn't seen you on TV. Just patted me on the back. That jolt told me it's over. That moment in time was the realization and the biggest depression I've ever felt. That was 4 days before I had the retirement speech at Nitro.
How emotional was that? I mean, that was real.
It was the realest thing I've ever done in front of a camera. And if I could have seen Rick's face, I'd have never got through the interview. Thank God I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at everybody but him. To say goodbye to something that you've loved this much and it's all you've ever known, and not to know, how you're going to feed your family. I mean, let's face it, I had a 8-month-old baby and a 11-year-old kid and a wife and bills from now on. I was 38 years old. What are you going to do? Pretty scary.
How did the company treat you as far as?
Good. I have no complaints. I had already moved into a agent position as well as wrestling, which means I go to the house show towns and
Right.
take care of the towns and everything. So I had a job to fall back on. And I was assured by Eric that hey, you got a job, don't worry about it. That made me feel better. But the fact is, I'm a wrestler. I'm not an agent. I'm not an announcer. I'm a wrestler. You take that away from me. And the worst part was I felt good other than every time I stepped off a curb getting this jolt or someone whacking me on the back, my kid running up, be sitting on the edge of the bed and jumping on my neck. I'd get this jolt. And that's a 3-year-old.
Right.
I felt great other than that. It was just one of those things that it's hard to swallow.
So there's no way to return to the ring.
I have no protection.
Right.
All the shock absorbers have been taken out. Now, anyone that knew me from 89 to 97, when you talked to me, it was Dean Malenko.
Right.
The whole upper body had to turn. Now I have this, which I didn't have, and I'm 80% pain-free. I have bad days, good days, but I never had this. So there's a blessing underneath there, but still,
Right.
I would swap this for that if I could wrestle again.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.